Okay, so I'm gonna get started here today. What I want to do here, I guess introduce myself again, since it's been a minute, right? It's been a couple days since we did that. Um, yeah, so where are we with this kind of experiment here? So my name's Kevin. I have a mathematics background. Where I did a undergraduate degree in discrete and applied mathematics at the University of Montclair State University in New Jersey. And then I went and did a year of graduate school at the University of Delaware and really struggled to find myself there. Was really drawn to the mathematics of the kind of like the philosophy of mathematics, like getting to proving everything, getting down to the nitty gritty. And I struggled with that because that's not exactly what we were expected to do. We were just to like accept these theorems as true and just use them and work with them. And also work with definitions and try to prove those things and understand the proofs. But I got a little always got hung up in the nitty gritty. So I ended up quitting that program, and it took me a while, a couple years, like a year, trying to figure out like what the heck am I gonna do? What does a math major do? You know, what jobs are available for someone who loves mathematics, doesn't want to work in finance, doesn't want to work for the military industrial complex, doesn't want to work for profit insurance. Pharmaceutical companies are possibly a bit skeevy too. So there's like limited options, and I really struggled. But I thought that I would reconnect with the curious part of me and do some data science and self-learn some data science from there. And yeah, so like I did a couple months of just self-study, and then I enrolled in a boot camp, which was then called Lambda School, which is now called Bloom Tech, which is kind of like, I don't even know if they have a DS program, a data science program anymore. They are seem to be, what do you want to call that? I don't know if this is an apt. I mean, this might be a appropriatism here. The like chasing the tail of a dragon or something. Is that like a phrase for like trying to chase something that's, I don't know. What's the phrase? What's a phrase for trying to chase fads and trends? That's where they seem to be now. It's kind of, I mean, it's grift adjacent. You're trying to cash in that AI grift space there. So, kind of, I don't know. I'm rambling, but yeah, I did that program, and that was interesting. Completed that. Went and sought roles in data engineering before I realized that, wow, that space is really gate kept by computer science majors. So, yeah, so had struggled with that then too. But I did get a role at a consulting firm, Cognizant. And what a weird experience that was, because it was kind of like around COVID. They sent a memo after I was signed a what is that thing? Like a letter of like job offer, basically. And then they sent a memo that like, oh, all the new hires, which was the early career track people, which is what I got in was hired under. They have to move, relocate. Are they paying? Nope, they're not paying. But you got to move if you want that job. And so I had no other offers, and I was really down on my luck too. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take it and let's move to Phoenix. And you know, what's the worst that could happen? Um, so like I signed a thing for 2 years, an agreement to stick with the company for 2 years, which would entail bonuses for staying with them. And then after that, after like getting on board there, doing their training, their whole training sessions, just finding it like completely isolated and not knowing who, where my place was. Like I had a manager that would just tell me to just like, oh, just keep like learning stuff, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just keep learning stuff. I like learning. Learning's cool. I can like schedule out my own learning schedule, and I could do this. And I got like a whole bunch of certifications, like in Azure and Databricks. And after a year, they were just like, you know what? These people need to be on projects. Put them on a project. And then you like try to find projects. There's no fucking projects. And then like you try to interview with one of them, you just get like railroaded by the interviewers, because like it's obvious that they are threatened by people coming in. So the very hostile interviews, very hostile. And like and when I say that, it's like very kind of like antagonistic, like they're trying to catch you. They're like, this person must be lying, we must try to catch them in the lie, and like do technical stuff. And oh, they don't know this one niche thing that I know, so they must not know everything, so they must not be fit for this role. Yeah, just like that kind of like antagonistic interviewing. And yeah, so after that, was let go from that job, and that sent me into you know, that pushed me deep into depression. So I am prone to depression, and so I have you know, kind of a loose diagnosis of general anxiety disorder. And you know, I don't feel bad sharing that. I know it's gonna be tough because there's no like DEI stuff anymore in a lot of places, but you know what? I'm just gonna live it. You know, this is me. I'm a human. We experience these things. Some of us have depression. Some of us are prone to spiral into deeper depression. You know, so if that resonates with you, you know, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that you follow me, and we can, you know, piggyback off each other to keep ourselves afloat, you know, so that we don't spiral. Yeah, so then I went into, yeah, so I didn't know what to do after that. I was getting unemployment for 6 months. I was looking for jobs, applying for like 10 jobs a week. And then at the end, like, of like, what was it? I had put in almost 400 applications of like, and that was not just, it was spraying, but it's not like I wasn't vetting each role. It was, I was looking at the job role, and I was saying, I could work here. I fit a lot of this job description, and like, who knows, you know, just maybe have a conversation. So I just made sure that like my resume was reasonably close to those things. I didn't alter my resume for those. I just put that out there, and I just put my resume out for a lot of things. The only thing I really changed my resume for is to change like the title that I was looking for, you know, the job role that I was looking for. So that wasn't a great strategy, apparently. It was the beginning of the worst job market in tech. We are now smack in the middle, or who knows at which phase we are in it. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to get hired in this industry, especially when you have a non-traditional background, especially when you don't have internships, you don't have real world experience to list on your resume. You only have like portfolio projects, little like mini end-to-end projects. You haven't done anything working on a big project and contributed to that. It's difficult. It's very difficult. So that's where I am now. But then I did. Yeah, that job search. That job search. Actually, that wasn't the bottom. That was the beginning of the spiral. And then, like, at the end of that, I was just so triggered at the end of I got deep into an interview process with one company for a contract role that was not paying a ton, but, you know, you got to eat, you know? And, oh, what do? They do panel interviews. I can't do panel interviews. Please don't do a panel interview, you know? They're not good for me. So yeah, what do I want to say about that? I guess that was it. And that was like kind of near the end of, like, that was kind of like this start of quarter Q4 of 2023. So yeah, that was bad. I basically said, like, you know, fuck this shit. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna put myself in these situations anymore where I can be psychologically damaged by this, you know? Yeah, so I took a step away, and then I tried to find a new, like, path somewhere. Just try to, like, get a little bit of money rolling in. And I looked at the places like Outlier AI and data annotation, and my goodness, those places are awful. The way that they try to, like, they don't do interviews or anything, apparently. I don't know what they do. Like, you just fill out an assessment or something, and then maybe they'll give you work. I've never gotten any work from any of them, except for Outlier, which was before it was called Outlier. It was called something else. I can't remember what it is. I think it was like remote tasks or something like that, remote jobs. Like, just a really awful. You have to take generative AI output from a large language model, and it would be like code for like Python and stuff, and you have to just like vet it and make sure it looks good, correct, you know, run it on your own machine, make sure it works and does what it's supposed to, and then and that it's formatted like in a pretty way, and that it kind of makes logical sense the way that the response was fed back. And then you'd like grade it on a rubric, and which was like, okay, I'll do that. It's kind of like mentally draining. It's kind of a mentally intensive task, like, to get started with. If you haven't done it, like, after a while, I'd imagine that you get more proficient at it, but at first it's really slow. And like the way that you're supposed to do this, they put up like a test. It was supposed to be a test of something. It was like some onboarding thing. It was like an onboarding, not really a test, but more of a like training. Okay, so here's the rubric. Match the rubric to the prompt, to the output of the prompt, and then you know, score it according to the rubric. And those things, like some of those, it would take me like 20 minutes to like 40 minutes for each one of those. Like 20 minutes probably, because yeah, it would take like 20 minutes to do the first one because I was like, let me make sure that I fully understand it, that I understand the rubric, that I understand what they want, that I understand what the score should be, And there's no feedback on whether or not you got it correct. And then like you move on to more of them, and then they just kept feeding you more and more and more, and like after a point, like I had been doing it for like 8 hours of the day, because I thought like, okay, I'll just do this, and like after 4 hours, I'll like allocate 4 hours, and we'll do 4 hours of it and do that. And then like they just kept feeding them to me, like more and more and more. They kept feeding them, and then finally I'm just like, I don't know when this thing ends. So I'm like, okay, let me just keep doing them. And then at a certain point, I just gave up. And I'm just like, let me just like get through as quickly as possible, just to like, I think I did pretty good with the first one. So I think like, let me see what they say if you just finish the task, And then it just like kicked me out. It said that like, oh, your score fell below a threshold or something. And it's like, what the that's not even a thing you stated was going to happen. That's not even any, like, they didn't set up any rules or it was so bizarre. And so I was just like, okay, fuck this company. Can't make money with them. So it's like, it's tough. Like I couldn't find any. And then you can try to get jobs on Fiverr and those things, but like in order to put yourself out there, you have to take like really low paying jobs, and you have to, if you're new like I am and was, how do you know what you can do, and like how can you estimate the time so that it's worth it for you to do it? It's hard. And I just don't see that as a viable option, especially since it's so saturated with people taking on, just like a race to the bottom of how much they're willing to accept as compensation. It is a capitalist hellscape out here. And I'm trying to navigate that. So, and already I'm getting a little anxious from thinking about these things. But I did want to talk about my background a little bit to give everyone a sense of where I'm coming from when I'm doing this. So then, where was I in the timeline? Yeah, and then I just like gave up. I just gave up and was like, okay, let me try YouTube. I know I'm gonna like solve crossword puzzles and the Wordles and things like that, and fun little daily games, and just like try to do content that can be like pushed out there that people kind of like want to watch. And do like short content for like 1 to 3 minute long things. And nothing like really could not gain any traction in there. And I'm pretty sure that the algorithm as it is today is not good for anybody who is trying to put out a kind of hodgepodge or a eclectic mix of content. You have to stick to one specific thing and do it over and over and over and over and over again until you get some traction, until people start to see it, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, so people are watching this. These are the people that are watching it. let's put it with those with the with more of the people like them who are watching that. And it's just like it's not good for newbies getting into that, because if there is an established channel that has a really large following, there's no guarantee that if you did the exact same thing, you're going to get the same number of subscribers. In fact, it's probably going to play against you. Like, unless they, unless you do, like, because like the tags don't work. Tags do not do shit. You could do the exact same tags, the exact same like keywords and everything. It's not SEO. That's not the problem. It is fundamentally your content does not get put into the eyeballs of the people who want to watch it. It doesn't happen. So it's tough. So that's why I wanted to kind of start a website that would aggregate all of the puzzle tubers that I know, who have like kind of like small to mid-level audiences, audience sizes, and promote them on a website. Let people be able to go to that website and say, like, what did this guy solve today? You could see that. You could see who solves, what they did, Well, it would be just like a place, because a lot of people like to do crosswords, and then after they do the crossword, they like to try to see what others have said about it. And I thought that would be a good way to try to do that. But no. That's a project that I have on the back burner, because now I'll get to that in a second, but I'm gonna have to put a pause on this. So that project, I'm just basically been trying to like get started with it on the weekends, where I'm gonna focus on doing the data analysis stuff and trying to apply for jobs through during the week, and do all my job activities that way. So that was a long-winded rant, and if you listened to any of that, thank you for hanging around. All right, so what are we going to do today? I just wanted to mention that I am going to put a pause on this for at least a week. I need to travel back to my hometown to attend to a family matter. So we'll put this kind of experiment on hold, and I'll try to like do an update of what I did during the week, because I'm not gonna be able to stream at all next week. So still plan on streaming tomorrow, possibly on Friday, but then after that I can't do any more for an indefinite amount of time. I don't know when that's gonna when I'm gonna come back to that. I'm just pushing the timeline back a week plus, depending on how long it takes. Today we're gonna pick back up where I left off yesterday, and use actually do something here. And we're gonna finish up the relational plots, I think we're doing here. I think we got to relational plots here. So we're doing... Yeah, we did this KDE curve one, and did we do the relational plot one? Yes. Wait, no, I didn't. I didn't do this one. We didn't do the relation. I think we're stuck here. Stopped here. Wait, maybe not. We did the rug plot. I think it's maybe at relational plots. I thought the one that we just finished was whatchamacallit. Now I'm confused. It's over here, I think. Yeah. So I should probably take a break so I can clear my head. But let me try to get started with this. So we want a new day, job day, and we're gonna go to day 14, I think today is. Yes. So we're gonna do the data visualization with Seaborn. And we're gonna take a look at Bootstrap and then up to the normal distribution. So today's the 14th day, and we get this all settled. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Let's yeah. Here. The theme is to finish a Seaborn article and explore the normal distribution using Python and R. And so let me add. Okay, I think I have that to the video description already. And I kind of do want to edit the video description. Add a stream marker here. Studio. Now I'm tired after that rant. Okay, I'm going to edit it. So we'll edit the title here. I'm gonna actually call this. Let's see. Okay, I need Seaborn RealPython. That's what I want to look for. Okay, so I don't think. I guess this doesn't have. Oh, you know what does have it? It was the code. Let me just open that up. My mind is a little scattered, and I apologize that it's not very fun to watch. But bear with me for the next few minutes as I try to set everything up again, since I think my computer decided to restart for some reason overnight. Oh. Ooh, I hate the foam roller here. Okay. I don't know what I was doing with this here. I have this here? I don't remember. So we kind of want to have this a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. So, data viz with Seaborn. Yeah, that's the one we want, right? Yeah. It's apparently taking forever to load for whatever reason. Maybe if I close it and then start it again. Goodness. Because I think we're at relational plots. That's not referring to... Oh, that was Roger Klotz from Doug. So let's go to this one. Creating data from... So relational plots using functions. That's what we're doing. Yeah, the relational plots using functions. So we did these other ones. Yeah, that's what we did. Okay. Right. All right, so there were 3 tasks for that exercise. I don't know why I was looking for more than one, more than those 2 boxes. Okay. Ooh, okay. Well, I might be a little distracted today. Right, I'm going to add this stuff to the chat as well. Let me add that. So please go check me out on LinkedIn. If you send a connect message, say that, hey, I saw you on YouTube or something. Because I've been getting a couple, like, connect requests, but I don't know who the heck the people are. So if I don't know where you're coming from, I'm probably not going to accept your connect request. So please just let me know that, like, hey, you saw me on YouTube. That's all you need to do. Yeah. This music's really sending me, so it's good. Thanks, Josh. Connect with me on Blue Sky as well, please. I need more more community there. Make sure you see how that's going. Cold in Phoenix today. Ooh, chilly. Let's see, how's Happy doing? Oh, she needs a blanket. Hang on. Been tempted to bust out some fuzzy socks here. Kind of last resort, but or I need some warm coffee. Actually, my coffee has gone cold. Don't know why. I got out of bed at all. Morning rain clouds up my window, and I can't see it all. Okay, just want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. Okay. Lots of stuff that are like in the zeitgeist right now. DeepSeek, Trump bullshit, RFK confirmation hearing, just lots of noise. And then there's, real harm being done to trans people, and I have no idea what I can do to help. Yeah, it's chaos right now, and we gotta let these I don't have the capacity to help at this time, and I have to just admit, I just have to come to those terms that I can help in the future, but I can't help right now, and I need to make sure that I'm good first before I can help others. Okay, where was I? I'm gonna change the title for this this video. It's here as well. Okay, so we're gonna be there. Chapter 2. Bootstrap confidence interval. So that's good. Oh, I can add this to the playlist now as well. Okay, just go through some of these other options here. Today is the recording date. Seaborn data plots and exploring the normal distribution. I guess that's a good title there. Add a stream marker again. That's where we changed it. Let me refresh my page here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then, we just need to get the new note, the new daily note up. So let's just stay going here. We should, do his text. I'll add that. Today's intention is to finish Seaborn article. Explore normal distribution. Just like a lot of redundancy in my things here, but that's okay. Oh, let me get my supplements going on here. Gotta get those fish oils. I do not eat fish. Really hardly at all. The only other time I'll maybe have some tuna fish every now and then. And you gotta check, make sure you're the HDL. I think the HDL. I have like a high-low. I have kind of an imbalance in the fats in the yeah. So, I should stretch. I should definitely stretch. We're not going to do the monthly review until Friday. What other things do I have up in here? Yeah, the Q1 plan. So Q1 plan is going to actually bleed into Q2, but that's going to be okay. I mean, it just like kind of eats into my prepare for interviews thing. That's okay. It's okay. Main thing is to get confident in talking about data and some proficiency, demonstrating proficiency through projects. That's what we need to do. So let's do creating relational plots using functions here. And Seaborn's relational plots are a family of plots that allow you to investigate the relationship between two sets of data. I saw an example, one of these earlier, when we created a scatter plot. Let me just show that up in here so that we can like go along with this and demonstrate. You know, we created scatter plots in a couple ways, right? We did yeah, we should probably recap here. So we did the functional interface, and the functions are like scatter plot, line plot, and RealPlot is the object level thing. So you build up plots with RealPlot, DisPlot, and CatPlot, or you can do their direct plots using the function. So it's a difference kind of like with the figure handle. So RealPlot, DisPlot, and CatPlot are like the figure handles, and then scatterplot, line plot, those are axis like handles there, axis level functions. So we did both ways. We had the axis level functions, and we also did figure level functions with RealPlot. And we also did some funky stuff with the facets. Then we did the contemporary objects interface, which kind of builds up one by one, object by object, layering on, like akin to the grammar of graphics. Or actually, it is using a grammar of graphics, but not specifically the same one that is used in ggplot, but similar. You saw an example of one of these earlier when you create a scatter plot. And so the other common relational plot is the line plot. Line plots display information as a set of data marker points joined with straight line segments. They're commonly used to visualize time series, and to create one in Seaborn, you use the line plot function. So in this section, you'll reuse the crossings and bridge crossings data frames that you used earlier as a basis for your relational plots. And suppose you wanted to see the trend in daily bridge crossings across the Brooklyn Bridge for the 3 months of April to June. A line plot is one way of showing you this. So let's go ahead and code this up. Okay, there we go. We have all those other things. I think I do need to run some of the cells. So I think what do we need to do? You know what? Let's just do it from here. It'll act as a reminder that I stopped and started back up again on different days. Import pandas as PD, and then import Seaborn as SNS. Crossings is going to be the read CSV from the pandas library of cycle crossings. And we can set the theme now this time. We're going to set a theme to be a dark grid, which is a new thing to go with here. I don't think we did that before. Now let me just like set that, and then we'll go do the line plot from here. Data is coming from the crossings data frame. They're going to take the date column for the x-axis, and then for the y values, we're going to take the Brooklyn crossings there. So Brooklyn, underneath Brooklyn, lists all the crossings for Brooklyn Bridge. Then we can do .set. We're going to set the title of the plot of the figure of the axis plot, right? So yeah. Daily crossing. So it's a subplot, right? Yeah, there we go. X label is going to be none. We're going to remove the X label. And then we're going to change the ticks. And we're going to indicate the date. Which is interesting because how do we know this is correct? It's weird. What is this format for the date? This is odd. Then you can rotate the ticks there. Let's see what we have here. That looks like the plot that they gave, but let's talk about this. To enhance the appearance of the plot, you call Seaborn set theme function and set a background theme of dark grid. And this gives the plot a shaded background plus a white grid for ease of reading. Okay, note that this setting will apply to all subsequent plots unless you reset it back to its default white value, and as with all Seaborn functions, you first pass line plot in a data frame. The line plot will show time series, so the X values are assigned the date series while the Y values are assigned the Brooklyn series. These parameters are sufficient to draw the visualization. Excuse me. Tired. The X series contains over 90 values, meaning they'll be crushed together and unreadable when the plot is drawn. To clarify this, you need to you decide to use the matplotlib xticks function to rotate and display only the starting date of each of the 3 months plus the last day in June. Yeah, okay. Your reader can infer the rest of the dates using this information along with the background grid. You also give the plot a title and remove its X label. The plot that you've created looks like this, and as you can see, the line plot plots each daily crossing value and joins these values together with straight line segments. You may be surprised to see the variation in the levels of crossings on the bridge. On some days there are fewer than 500 crossings, while on other days there are near 4,000. Using the principles that you've learned so far and the Seaborn documentation, you might like to try the following exercises. I certainly would. Let's make this a markdown cell. Make sure it's that. And then we like to split this up into 2 different tasks. So let me copy this, paste it, and then what we'll do is there we go. And then I can just split it. On my keyboard. It's a little grody. It's weird. Okay, maybe I spilled some coffee on it or something. I don't know. Could be. Okay, so we're going to use an appropriate data set to produce a single line plot showing the crossings for all bridges from April to June. So from April to June, the crossings for all bridges in a single line plot? Okay. But you're saying that you want it to be done for each... Okay. I think maybe that's what we want to do. We can just use the crossings data frame. And I think what we want to do is basically do the same thing. Let me go back up just to like copy it from there. So we want to do SNS.line plot, and then the data we want to use is crossings. The X value we want is the date, right? The Y value is going to be the crossings, but the Y value here... So that's interesting, though, because... Right. Okay. What was the name of the other one? I think we do need to run that other. With the melt? Yeah, I think we gotta run it from bridge crossings. Reason why I'm thinking that is because you need to have, like, it can't do multiple Y values. Like, that's not how it's gonna do it. Can't do multiple columns, because that's the way that it's set up, is in that wide format. Where it's Brooklyn, Williamsburg, whatever, the Queensboro Bridge. Those are all in separate columns. I think we need them to be, all the data to be in the single column, and then we're going to do a hue of the separate of the bridge type, right? Let's go and just take a look at bridge crossings. It might not be defined, actually. Yeah, it's not defined. I need to go define it by running the cell above. This cell. So we're going to run that cell. There we go. So I have bridge and then crossing. So we have those two. So what we want is crossings is going to be the value. Date is going to be there. And we want it by hue by bridge, right? I want to see what that looks like first, and then I'll add the labels and stuff. That looks like trash. So we want to kind of clean this up. They said from April to June. So we'll just use the same ticks. I don't really want to do the same, I don't want to write that again. Type it out. I'm just going to copy and paste it. So what does it look like when I do it like that? That looks pretty cool. Okay. Now I can also do from here a title of the daily crossings by bridge. The date we can remove as the X label. And so that looks similar to what they did before with the Brooklyn Bridge, but then we just added on more. Is that a single line plot showing the crossings for all bridges from April to June? So So we do have this. I wonder if you could do the... I don't know if they meant to add them all together, to do them all together. So that would just be without the hue, right? So I think what I could do is do this. I like doing this better. So we can do it like this. Filter out the hue, and then it'll just give us all of them. And that's all of them. Oh, and there's the error as well. The error bar stuff. Interesting. Because there's multiple recordings for each day. Just taking the average. I wonder if that's what they want. I'm going to do this both ways. Just to put these side by side. Or, you know, at least on top of each other. I'll put them on top of each other. And you can see the range. Oh, it's not even... So this is just the average. So each... You have the max and the min represented in there as well, automatically put on there. And then I guess, what do they take? The mean of that set? I think maybe. Ooh, okay. I think the second one is what they want. Now we can clarify this by doing a subplot for each bridge, right? So I'm guessing that the way that we do this then is... So it's not that stuff at all, but I think we're going to do something similar here. So we're doing rel, SNS rel plot. It's a relational plot, right? You're still in the relational land here. And our data is coming from bridge crossings. And we're getting everything else, right? So it's going to be X is the date, Y being the crossings. And rather than hue, we're going to have col is equal to the bridge, right? I think. Let's see how that looks. Oh, and then we have to define a kind, right? Kind is equal to line plot. And I wonder if we can do PLT for that stuff. I wonder if we can put... Put that there. This might give an error. So it's only for the last one that it does the PLT tick stuff there. So how do we do it for each one? Oh, we can put in... Is that it? No, it's not call name. It's yeah, I don't remember what it was. That's apparently not it. Let me go back up. Look for where we did this. Just because I really want to get it right without having to resort to looking back there. And I think it just helps my brain to do it this way. So we're looking for like facet grid thing here, right? I guess, I don't know where we have the, can I find? It was like starting with call, wasn't it? Maybe it wasn't in here. Maybe it was in the other one. Oh, my back. Maybe it was in here. Yeah, that's it. Set titles. Oh, because you're doing facet grid. That's a different thing. Facet grid is using the object thing, I think. So we can't do it as that. Set titles. Maybe I can do it this way. Set titles. And what does this take? Takes a template. Row template column, and then there's quargs. But like, what quargs can go in there? Is there X label and stuff? I think what I can do is to do this. I don't know why I keep doing it. Like, I can just do that, I think. Yeah. It's not title, it's a template. Yeah, okay. Now, how do we do the plot ticks? Can we set ticks? Tick labels, but can we set? I don't know if... What? Weird. Tick params? I'm not sure how to do this way. Given their PLT ticks. How did we do it? How did we access individual things before? Maybe we didn't. We just set X label. Maybe it's set the ticks or something? I don't know. I don't know why I'm not there. Down here. Yeah, I don't know what parameters we can affect with this set. You can do set Y tick labels. You can do set X ticks. Okay, set X ticks is a thing. Oh wait, but we want to... Oh, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong thing. No, Xtix isn't available for us for this. We can set the Xtix in there. It's an array-like object, so it should be able to do that. So we can just like take this, put that there. Now I think it's tick params that we need. So I think, let me see. Yeah. No, tick params is not available. X ticks, Y ticks. I don't know, I might give up after a minute here. I don't think this is going to work. Rotation's going to fail. Yeah. Rotation's not available. Maybe it is, though. Maybe it does. Wait, rotation is equal to 45. Yeah, it's the rotation that's going to throw it off. This should work. It's just not going to be rotated. I don't know how you get the rotated thing there. This is reasonable. It's not a terrible plot. We just would like it to be rotated on that there. So let's see what they say about this. So let's look at their solution here. I'm pretty happy with this. This looks pretty good. We have Brooklyn Bridge daily crossings on this one, and then we have Manhattan Bridge daily crossings, Williamsburg Bridge, Queensboro. You know, it's all labeled pretty nicely. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Look pretty good to me. One way you could plot bridge crossings on a single plot line is hue and bridge and style. Yeah, so that's what we did right here. Set title. Oh, they use set title though. Daily bridge crossings, that's fine. I did daily crossings by bridge. Plotting PLT Xtix, accessing them like that. And yeah, and then we use the same code from before to do that. So you want some more red in the data and pivot it using the data frames melt method to put each bridge's data in the same column. You use the line plot function to draw the plot. By setting both hue and style to bridge, you make sure the data for each bridge appears as a separate line with a different color and appearance, and to make the x-axis less crowded, you set it fixed to the 4 date positions shown. Rotate them by 4 to 5. So how do we do the same thing? I think this is what they want. Create a separate subplot for each bridge there. So we have route plot. We have bridge crossings as our data. Line is our kind of plot. That there, crossings. Now they did the hue is the bridge and that there. What's the difference? Let me see something. What does that look like? Oh, they're different colors then. That looks pretty cool, actually. I wonder if we could change the color of the title to match that as well. Oh, but you see the difference is, though, I tried to do this ticks thing. That doesn't work. That ticks thing doesn't work. The rel plot. Set titles. They didn't set titles. Maybe that's it. Maybe that was the problem. I'm not sure. Maybe you have to set... No, I don't know. Let me take a look at their solution. Because I don't think that that is the way I would do it. So they have that. That looks like mine. Oh, they did it on the same... That's not what they did. Oh. Styles bridges. Styles bridge. Okay. Oh, that's weird. So they're saying do this, but use instead of have the style be affected by the bridge as well, and then do that. Okay, that's all they're doing. Now, what about the other one though? Because I don't think that's going to be correct. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, PLT ticks. You can't get all of the axes labels done like that. I don't know what the workaround is for that. Like, I wish I knew. That's it. That's how you do it. It's tick params. It's a function. It's a function that's coming off of the axis label, right? So if we just yeah, let's just take this and what I want to do is just find out what the type is. Yeah, take a while. It's a facet grid, but then like what kind of object is a facet grid? That's kind of what I want to know. So facet grid has a thing called a tick params, I think, right? Or yeah, this outputs a facet grid. We're outputting a facet grid at each step in this pipe. Yeah, that's it. So facet grid has a method called tick params that you can set the rotation of the tick params. You can do the length, the width, the color. Interesting. I wonder if color could be affected by the grid. By which one? Sure, it can. I just don't know how to do that. I think it's a good time to take a break, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to do creating regression plots using functions, and we'll go from there. I'll add a stream marker for this. Gotta get into the habit of making stream markers, so might be a few minutes because I kind of need to clear my head and rest a little bit. So let me set a timer for I should add a new one. Yeah, this will just be fine. Let me set a timer for 20 minutes. I think that'll be about the time I come back. I just need to. I need a little break. So we'll do that. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay. Let me say we finish up this section, and then I'll go get some more coffee. Warm up a little bit here. So, add stream marker. There we go. Creating regression plots using functions. So Seaborn's regression plots are a family of plots that allow you to investigate the relationship between two sets of data. They produce a regression analysis between the data sets that helps you visualize their relationship. The two axes level regression plot functions are the reg plot and the resid plot functions. These produce a regression analysis and the residuals of a regression analysis, respectively. So in this section, we'll continue with the crossings data frame that we used earlier. And earlier, we used the scatterplot function to create a scatterplot comparing the minimum and maximum temperatures. Had you used regplot instead, you would have produced the same result, only with a linear regression line superimposed over it. Okay, so let's try sns.regplot. Now, what do we need to pass? We need the crossings data frame. And we need x to be, what are we doing? Min temp, okay. And then the y is going to be the max temp, and then we want to run a regression line right through it. And then you set the confidence interval. We're going to talk about confidence intervals in a little bit. Okay, and then we want to set the title equal to regression analysis of temperatures. And then we want the X label to be the minimum temperature. Just copy and paste that, and then we'll just change this minimum to maximum. And the X label to Y label, and then that should do it. We just do plt.show at the end. Show that BLT. There we go. That's a nice looking little plot there. As before, the regplot function requires a data frame as well as the X and Y series to be plotted. This is sufficient to draw the scatter plot along with a linear regression line. The resulting regression plot looks like this. Okay, minimum versus a maximum, or maximum versus minimum there, and yeah, it looks like as the minimum temperature increases, so does the maximum temperature. And the shading around the line is the confidence interval. As you get further away from the mean, it gets wider. That's interesting. Huh. How does it calculate that? By default, it is set to 95%, but can be adjusted by setting the CI parameter accordingly. You can delete the confidence interval by setting CI equal to none. One of the most frustrating aspects of using regplot is that it doesn't allow you to insert the regression equation or R² value onto the plot. Although regplot knows about these internally, it doesn't reveal them to you. If you want to use the to see the equation, then you must calculate and display it separately. All right, and so to do this, you can use the linear regression class from scikit-learn, and objects of this class allow you to work out an ordinary least squares linear regression between two variables. And to use it, you must first install scikit-learn. We already have it installed, I'm pretty sure. So let's go ahead and just linear model. That's still linear model. Linear regression. My fingers are like cold. They don't really want to do this. They don't want to play around here. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe linear regression is not a thing that... Oh, okay. I think the linter is just saying, hey, you haven't used this yet. You want to use it? Let's do the loc of min temp. Why is right, so I guess we'll talk about that. You need to pass in a column, a list for the second thing. Whereas with the y values, you just want a single value. Or you want to return... Oh, X is a data frame, Y is a series, or something along those lines. And you're going to do linear regression. Let me just verify that. Actually, let's run this first. And then above that, I just want to show X should be a series and Y, or X should be a data frame, Y should be a series. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Calculate your R squared. Take your score of the model with your training, with your data, right? What? What's going on here? Oh, I didn't close the curly braces. And we're just gonna calculate this. What's kind of funny to me is that they don't have like a line of best fit like as a attribute of the model. Like it should be calculated already as just like a string that you can like just show. You know, you have to actually write some code to display it. And then we're gonna just concatenate that with the intercepts. I wonder if they'll talk about why there's underscores there. Those are like things, attributes that belong to the model that are kind of like belong to the specific instance of the model or something. And then like, I don't know what the rationale was for that again. I have to look at it again. So we're using our min temp and max temp as before. This time we're gonna put in line keywords in the label. Okay, we don't want a lambda, but we want a label to be the best fit line. And then we want the R squared to be underneath it. Okay, now we want to set the label. What gets returned from this? Nothing gets returned. Yeah. Text. All right, and then you can just plot the equation up on there. Nifty McGifty. Nifty McGifty Difty. Okay. So first you import linear regression from sklearn linear model. And we'll see shortly that we need this to perform the linear regression calculation. We can then calculate or create a pandas data frame and pandas series. Our X is a data frame that contains the min temp columns data, while Y is a series that contains the max temp columns data. You could potentially regress on several features, which is why X is defined as a data frame with a list of columns. Next, you create a linear regression instance and pass in both data sets to it using fit. This will perform the actual regression calculations for you. By default, it uses ordinary least squares OLS to do so. And once you've created and populated the linear regression instance, its score method calculates the R-squared or coefficient of determination value. This measures how close the best fit line is to the actual values in your analysis. The R-squared value is 0.78, and this indicates a 78% accuracy between the best fit line and the actual values. That's not really, accuracy is not really how you would describe it. I mean, that's one, if we have to unpack that. 78, that means that 78% of the variability is explained by the regression line, right? By that. By the, yeah, by that. Or is that, no, that's a different thing. That's the, I think that's what it is. Like 78% of the variability is explained by the predictor value, or by the independent variable. If it were perfect, then it exactly explains it, right? And everything would be falling on that line. One second. Okay. Ooba-doober. Linear regression instance also calculates the slope of the linear regression line and its y-intercept. These are stored in the coef 0 and intercept properties, respectively. To draw the plot, you use the regplot function as before, but you use its line keywords parameter to define the label property of the regression line. This is passed in as a Python dictionary whose key is the parameter you wish to set and whose value is the value of that parameter. In this case, it's a string containing both the best fit equation and the R-squared value that you calculated earlier, and you assign the regplot, which is a matplotlib axes object, to a variable called ax to allow you to give the plot and its axes titles. Finally, we use the legend method to display the contents of its label, in other words, the linear regression equation and R-squared value. So we may be wondering why both of these have the underscore suffixes. Right, so this is a convention here, right? So let's see. Why? It indicates variables that contain estimated values, so things that are generated from the model, right? Estimator, rolling your own estimator. Hmm. Interesting. Clearly, that's what our updated plot looks like. So let's go ahead and add some other things here. As you can see, the equation of the best fitting straight line of the data points has been added to our plot, and using the principles we've learned so far, let's and the Seaborn documentation, they want us to use the docs. Might try to do the following things. So let's do this. The exercise we're gonna do here is drawing regressional plots. Dashboard regressional. Let's go with that, and then let's go with 3 tasks. Okay. And what we'll do is highlight those. Let's split that one up. There we go. Okay. So we're going to redo the previous plot. This time we're going to create a single plot showing a separate regression line with the equation for each of the 3 months. So what was our thing? It was reg plot or something? Regressional plots? No, reg plot is... rug plot. We did those. What was it called? It's not this plot, right? Let's see, because I think... KDE, we did the other one. And it's not cat plot, right? Because that's not a... Well, no, that's not going to be it. How are we doing this? I guess we'll just do reg plot. We just take this one. We already have our model and everything, right? Although... Oh, shoot. Okay. How's that going to work? Okay, I think I want to look at the docs then. LM plot is the one, is the facet grid. Okay. But that's not what we, kind of not what I want, right? We're going to want to calculate the best fit thing for every single one. So we're going to want to create for each. of the 3 months. Which 3 months? What if I just copied this and then just added hue to it? Is month a thing? No. Hue is not a thing. What do we have available to us for reg plot? You've got the estimator, scatter, fit reg. Some jitter. I don't know if we can do it from here. We don't really need to do it on the facet grid, though. Oh, maybe this is it. Okay, this is it. Yes. Okay. I guess we're just going to take this example. But the problem is we need to add the equation there, too. So you have to calculate that for each one, right? Let me take a look at a month is in there as a column. So we can do it this way. We're not doing it as a figure thing, though. Linear model plot. And then the hue we want is month. And line keywords are going to come from that other stuff, but I guess there's no line keywords. Let's go see what we have available to us. I think this acts a little bit different than the other ones. Oh. Wait a minute. Okay, never mind. So it's not going to be that. I don't think this is going to be what this is, so I think we can just get rid of this for a second and we can take a look at this. So we have the 3 different ones there. Right. April, May, and June. Okay. Or we can change the axes labels. But we want to, the thing we're missing is the line equation. How do we do the equation for each of them? I think we need 3 different things, and we need to do 3 different linear models, basically. Okay, and then how did we add... Yeah. Line keywords. So how would we do that? What would we use to handle each line's... Like, it's going to be in the legend, right? The legend. Maybe it's facet keywords. That's a dictionary. So dictionary, it's not a Oh, it is. Okay, so it's probably akin to that. Okay, facet grid keywords. I don't know how you do this. Yeah, I'm a bit lost on this one. I don't... Because I think I'm hitting a wall on that keyword argument there. Because we can do facet keywords. That's going to be that dictionary. If we pass that in, I think this is going to give an error. I don't think label is going to be one. Yeah, I don't know what the thing is supposed to be. It's that time of day where we are not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming because, you know, Cox Internet, that's that time of day for them. Expect a little buffering. It's probably good probably be a good time to take a break. But I really just want to get through this. Right, so I am missing something here. So LM plot has this thing called facet keywords. So a facet grid takes these things, right? We can pass in these, whatchamacallits, order for leveling those, yeah. Height aspect, D-spine, margin titles. And then subplot keywords. Now, I think that's what we want. So I think what I want to do is to put in subplot keywords and then do another whatchamacallit. And do something along the lines of that. Let's format this so that it looks... Well, okay, they think that that looks pretty... If this doesn't give an error, then this should be pretty good. Okay, so it doesn't give an error, so that means that we're kind of, I think, on the right track. The label isn't showing up, but I think what that means is that we have to... add legend? No. What was it that we did before? So inside of those, we also, I think we have a label. We also have a legend, I think, right? I don't know. Yeah, that's not a keyword that we can pass through there. That's the way. That's the way we get it like that. Okay. Now, our subplots are reg plots, right? Although, let me go back to LM. Is there a kind that we have to do here? A kind? We didn't have to set a kind, I don't think. Oh, X estimator. Plot the resulting estimate. I don't know if that's the same thing, though. We could actually just say legend true, right? Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Let me see. So this is facet grid. It's LM plot. LM plot. Reg plot. So I think we're doing reg plot, and then what can we do for reg plot? Yeah. Hmm. See where they use the label. Yeah. Boy. I don't know what we do for this. I don't know how long I should spend on this before giving up. So I think we can do the figure level thing. That's going to be the LM thing to do the each month. There must be something that I'm missing that we can do this with reg plot. I just don't think there is. I want to just peek over at this one and just see if I'm on the right track here. So no. Oh wait, no, because that was okay. That's the one we want to look for the. They're calculating regression with that. Okay. Right. I'm not even at that stage yet because I know kind of how to do that. Okay. This is convoluted. Wow. Okay. I would never have, I don't think I would have thought this far. I thought that they were saying that we could do this all with LM plot or something. Wow. I mean, kind of want to look at the. This is not my favorite article from RealPython. As far as exercises go, they kind of really don't. Like, some of these things just come out of thin air and they just don't, like, you need some kind of hint. Like, okay, like, yeah, we can do all this stuff. It just they make it seem like you can do all of that without going this complex here, without creating separate functions for each thing. Calculating the regression, returning the two values, and then draw a plot. Yeah, it's just weird. Okay. I understand what you're going for here. It's just a little bit more code than I thought that you would show. Like, in order to achieve this. Like, this is supposed to be elegant, right? I feel like R it's better in R. It's either better in R or this is like using this is very convoluted versus using the objects. So could be wrong on that, but okay. Now this kind of took me out of it, honestly. I'm not having fun with it. Yeah, this took me out of it. I'm just gonna I think what I'll do is I'll keep their solution in there. What we'll do is yeah, I guess I'll just take all of this code and I'll just put it in there and I'll just strip it of the things that are redundant or, you know, things that are unnecessary to run again. Don't need to run crossings again. We already have that loaded. And then so this is how they did it. It's just a lot of code for what I was expecting. Like for task 1, you want me to do that for task 1? Is that level of complexity here not going to ease us into it? Like just go straight for some really, I don't know. I don't think they set this up for anybody to succeed at doing that task. Use an appropriate figure level function to create a separate regression plot for each month. So figure level function. So now we can use our LM plot. And let's go ahead and use our calculate regression function. So the data is going to be crossings. The X is going to be min temp. Y is going to be max temp. And I guess the hue is going to be month. And the col is going to be month as well. I mean, if I just go straight for that, what does that do? We get that, which isn't terrible looking. We want to change the labels, obviously. I don't know how you would add the lines. Like, I'm totally lost as to how you should see the lines. So, okay, so oh god. Okay, well, I think I'm on the right track here. Min temp max temp in the column of month. That's all we're doing. And then, okay. Yeah, okay. And then, why, like, this is easier. Like, why not do that one as task 1 and then say, okay, I put them all on the same plot. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Yeah. Map data frame method. Okay. Well, that's a good thing to point out there. Let's see. This facet grid. Map data frame. is a method. Wait a minute. So we want to look at methods that come off of it. Yeah, this is a map data frame. Passes args as strings and inserts data in keywords. What can we pass? I don't know. I'm just tired. Let me see what they're going for here. You could plot each regression on the same plot as each month. So the regression equation is taken in a data frame, and it's gonna... Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so confusing. Okay. Why are you loading crossings in there twice? So you create this R squared thing, but you never use it, dude. So like we can just get rid of it. Oh, you're missing a line, dude. You accidentally missed a line. This like a significant leap in complexity. My brain's just not in it today. I don't know. Maybe I should just stop today and call it. I definitely gotta take a break. I don't know. Maybe if I like take a nap or something, come back to this. Hopefully I'll feel better. I don't know what time Molly's getting home tomorrow. All right. Let's see if this will work. I'm gonna take an extended break. I think maybe an hour and a half should do it. And then I'll come back and we'll hopefully try to finish this, but I'm just not feeling it today. We'll be back. Okay, so I'm a bit sleepy from taking a nap, but I think I'll be able to get through this. So, but I think I'll just stop after completing this this thing. Yeah, just not feeling great today. It's very cold here. Very cold outside. Let's see. Yeah. It was rainy. Yeah, maybe tomorrow it'll warm up. Tempted to run something in the oven to get it warm in here. But I need to do an updated yeah, I have this one. Okay, what I wanted to do was to clip that. Maybe we'll just take a little break from the whatchamacallit. We just read this little article from Eric Mathis. Just put this into readings. Yeah, and then okay. I've been doing this much really today. Isn't any there? Okay. All right, so this is the 132nd mostly Python entry from Eric Mathis. Okay, so any. It's a simple built-in function, but using it isn't as straightforward as it might seem. A task that's come up repeatedly in my programming work involves looking through a collection of values and taking an action if a specific item appears anywhere in that collection. There's a way to do this in one line of code, but it almost always takes me at least one round of refactoring to get there. When I had to do this most recently, I made a note to write it up and try to recognize the pattern next time it comes up. Feels like I should be able to use the one-liner approach without always going through a round of refactoring. It turns out using any in the real world is a bit more complicated than it appears on the surface. So when in is enough. So Python makes it quite straightforward to determine if a specific item appears in a collection. Consider the following list of fruits is equal to pear, apple, and orange. Right, this is O of n though. Right, if you want to know whether apple is in the list, you can use the in keyword. This works for simple cases where the item you're looking for is either in the collection or is not in the collection. It doesn't work when you need to examine something about each item in the collection. Right, it just tells you whether or not it's there. When it's not enough. Now, if you want to see, is apple in a part of the list? Right. I love apple desserts, but I'm not particular about what kind of dessert it is. If there are apples in the dessert, I'll try it. A simple in test doesn't work here because we don't know exactly what item to look for in the collection. I'm going to just zoom in on this a little bit. This makes it easier for me to read. A simple in test doesn't work there, right? So you can examine each dessert in the list. So, yeah, if apple is in dessert, each dessert is equal to true, or just, break. Yeah. We first set the default condition, I don't plan to eat dessert. Then we look through all the desserts one at a time. If any of them have an apple in it, I'll eat dessert. So once I know there's a dessert with the apples, I don't need to look at the rest of the options. I already know I'm eating dessert. Interesting contrived example. I tend to write code like this initially because it models how I think in the real world, but it's not the best implementation in the code base using any. There's a way to implement the above check in one line of code. Eat dessert is equal to any, and then you do a list comprehension for apple in dessert for dessert in desserts, right? The any function returns true if any item in the collection evaluates to true. Here, if apple appears in any of the dessert names, any will return true. This is like, it's verging on being kind of clunky and not as readable, though. Like, just as like the gestalt of it is just like dessert, dessert, dessert. You see dessert so many times. Yeah, you like take a look back. But like, if you're familiar with list comprehensions, you probably are like able to read this pretty easily. For beginners, it might be difficult to read, I think. Any, what is any doing? I don't know exactly what any's doing. What's this like? It's got a list. You've heard about list comprehensions, right? Except for the fact that in is doing two different things here, right? Apple in dessert for dessert in desserts. Yeah, for dessert in desserts is the syntax for running the for loop, right? For each dessert in desserts, run this other thing. Yeah, so let's read on what he's saying. A closer examination of this code clarifies why it often takes me around to refactoring to get here. It's not as simply as telling people to just use any. In the example of looking through a list of desserts, you have to first make a list comprehension that defines the condition you're looking for. It's helpful to look at that list on its own. The comprehension looks at each item in dessert and evaluates to true if apple is in the dessert name and false if it's not. We end up with the list of Boolean values. That's the list that any is acting on. Right, okay. So again, it's not simple as just use any. You need to make an intermediate sequence of Boolean values representing the condition you're interested in, and then call any on that sequence. This is quite readable once it's written, but it doesn't model how most of us think in the real world. Okay. Okay. Any accepts a generator. Passed a list comprehension to any in the previous section because it's a bit more intuitive to think about any acting on a list of values, but you don't need to you don't need the full comprehension. You can just pass the expression that's used inside the comprehension directly to any. I believe this version should be more efficient, as it should stop at the first item in the sequence that meets the specified condition. If you pass a comprehension, I believe the entire list will be built before any is executed. Yeah, I'm not sure how the interpreter is doing that. Interesting little thing here. So the test suite for Django simple deploy is somewhat complicated because a full end-to-end test makes an actual deployment to a hosting platform. These tests are critical for ongoing development and maintenance of the product, but they should only be run when they're explicitly requested. When building out the infrastructure to support a plugin ecosystem last fall, the test suite grew even more complicated. The test suite needed to collect all tests from both the core Django simple deploy project and any plugins that are installed. A bare PyTest call should run all unit and integration tests, but no E2E tests. When an E2E test is requested, it should only run that test. I think he means E2E as an end-to-end test, like an integration test kind of thing. The commands say to run the end-to-end test using the plugin dsdfly.io and show that output that's generated during configuration and deployment of the sample test project. Whew, okay. My goodness. This kind of custom test collection behavior can be implemented by examining PyTest's config object. Here's the specifying condition I was trying to implement. If any argument includes the phrase E2E test, don't collect tests from plugins. So here's how I implemented that behavior originally in the root conftest.py. So PyTest configure, and the docstring says, going to add plugin test paths to what's being collected. Don't modify test collection when running end-to-end tests. So for arg in config.args, if E2E tests in arg, return. So it's just exiting early, basically, if it finds end-to-end tests. Okay, and then if plugin configured option skip plugin tests, return. So if that option is also enabled in the config object, then you're gonna exit early as well. So okay, let's see. Config.args is a list of arguments that were passed at the command line. If we loop over all the arguments that were passed in the PyTest call and find the string E2E tests in any of those arguments, we should exit the custom configuration function before collecting any tests from plugins. This worked, and it was straightforward for me to think about what I was trying to do, but this is an example of code that's harder to read than it is to write. There are multiple levels of indentation inside the already intended function body. You also have to think through the outer loop and then the inner condition. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For a lot of people, I think this is pretty straightforward, though. For arg in arg config.args. Yeah. Don't modify test collection. Since you have the note here, the comment, I think, explains it really well. I guess maybe what he's going to get at is that you could make this so that it is understandable without the explanation, right? So for arg and config.args, if E2E tests in arg, return. That's the part that's kind of being obfuscated, I think, is like this part. If E2E tests in arg, well, I don't know if E2... What is an arg? Like, the args is the problem for me, right? Not the indentation. So he says, if any E2E tests in arg for arg and config.args, then return. So that's just a single if statement then. I can kind of see what he's getting at. It kind of like just just from a feeling, like just from a vibe perspective, like reading this, it takes like, it's just like, okay, now I have to like engage my logical brain for arg and config.args, this, then that. Whereas like with this, it kind of just makes it a little, like, me feel a little bit more at ease. I don't know. It's just like there's less tension. It's like if any of E2E tests in arg for arg and config.args. Okay. Yeah. It's more readable because it has fewer levels of indentation, but also because the logic is more clear. I mean, I don't know about that. It's still clear, but it's just from a vibe standpoint, it just feels better. I don't know. The block starts with an if statement, which is more important than the presence of for loop. The 2-line block here reads more naturally than the original version. Okay. It's tempting to think I should have known how to use any with more confidence earlier in my career as a programmer, but a bit of reflection shows that there's more involved in using this function than just understanding what it does on a surface level. Sure, it returns true if any item in the sequence passed to it evaluates to true, but to actually use it, you need to generate a sequence of Boolean values based on the data you're working with and the conditions you're looking for. It's worth being thoughtful about the things we assume are simple. They might be simple because we've been using them for a while. I think that's the case with any. And we've lost sight of some of the complexity that goes into using them in real-world situations. Also, if you've thought less of your own skills because you don't use some simple features of the language, consider that simplicity is often very context-dependent and experience-dependent as well. That's kudos for pointing that out. I think, yeah. Yeah. All that said, Python offers a bunch of features that make common situations easier to address. You can make yourself aware of these features before you need them, so you'll know what to reach for, but actual fluency with these features will probably take some time, practice, and ultimately reflection. Use refactoring sessions and an intentionally designed test suite to explore other ways to implement verbose blocks in your real-world code bases. So I don't know. I'm not signed up, but I'm like logged in. Okay. Let's get back to doing data plots using objects now with Seaborn. So this is the thing that I'm really excited about. This other stuff is a little... It's good. You know, sometimes you need to do some lifting before doing the plots, right? And I feel like that stuff will come. But I'm just not really... I wasn't really feeling this example. As a selling point for Seaborn here. Let me go to this. The thing that I don't like is I don't think that this... No, it doesn't. You can collapse all. I don't know. I want to collapse all, like, above here. So starting from up here. Creating bar plot with matplotlib. Understanding Seaborn's classic functional interface. And understanding contemporary objects. Categorical, distributional charts, plots, relational plots. Regression plots and stuff. Okay, I don't know why they call that regressional. It's weird. It's just a funny word to me. Okay. Let's go with this here. Before I do that, actually, I do want to take a quick moment to edit something in my stream service here. My video service here. I think it's where I move the camera left and right. I'm thinking I want to increase this region here. Let me show the frame. Yeah, so it's from there. And then I want it over on that one. So I want to increase the frame that I'm using, like, because like in my lower thirds, like when I'm down here, you can see that, like, I want to be able to like shift it from down in this region. Chances are like this is a problem then too, right? But it's only moving if I'm like in that one little box. So I want to extend it to at least like cover like 2/3 of the, or like a third of the screen. This 1/3 half, you know, 1/3 of the lower half, 1/3 of the lower third, basically, you know. So I just want to get that out of the way. And so if I increase this, that's decreasing that. Okay, that's decreasing the height, of course. The max on the right side. Okay, so I gotta decrease the maximum here. So what is a third of that? It was weird. Okay. So that's 660. I don't know exactly which one I want. I got to do some math here. Maximum is 2890 on there, and I'm subtracting 790 from it. Maximum on here is 960, and I'm subtracting 790. To subtract 790 from 960, it's gonna wait. Gosh, I don't want to do the math right now. 790. It's 170, right? I think that's right. I gotta get the calculator. I'm just not feeling math today. Brain's just not working today. Yeah, it's 170. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I want with that. So if I'm in that lower corner, so if I'm down here, I want to be able to move it over. And then if I'm over here, I want to move it over as well. Because chances are, if I'm over here, then it might be getting blocked. So, yeah. So we got that part fixed. So I'll fix this other part. I'll show the frame for those as well. Yeah, you can barely see it on that other one. It's there. So, negative 960, and then we want to go 170 from there, and then 960. The max was 1260. Now I need to get the calculator out again. I think it's, yeah. 470. Okay. So from the minimum X. Oh, wait. I gotta do that the other way. Wait, I can do this. 7 on top of that is 15. And then 90 is going to make it 1650. I think that's it. I think that's how I want that. We'll just hide the frame. We'll just accept this. Okay, I think that's the adjustment I wanted to make. Just to make this like a little bit smooth here. That I can move. That this is going to get moved out of the way when I need it to be moved out of the way. That's all. That's all. That's the little tiny adjustment I wanted to make. And so now we can get to, finally, creating Seaborn data plots using objects. So earlier we saw how Seaborn's plot object was used as a background for our plot, while we must use one or more mark objects to give it content. In this section, we'll learn the principles of how to use more of these, as well as how to use some other common Seaborn objects. As with the section on using functions, remember to concentrate on understanding the principles. The details are in the documentation. That's the main thing that I need to realize, that like, okay, we didn't like grasp how to do that one exercise, but I'm just gonna get the foundation, the understanding of the library on its fundamental level. So we know that Seaborn uses function level objects, or figure level functions, and axis level functions. So we know that part. And then we also have this object, Seaborn objects interface here. And that's closer to the grammar of graphics, right? And so we're going to layer on elements of the plot as we go along. It's the whole big idea, right? So just grasping those big ideas is what we should take away from this. As an example, suppose you wanted to prepare a plot to allow to visualize the minimum temperatures for the first week of your crossings data. Let's try to get that going. Okay, so we're going to use the main data visualization objects here. And excuse me a second. Ooh, gosh. Okay. Let's. We're gonna read the PD. We're gonna read that back in again. Weird. And what we want to do here is parse the date column as a datetime object, and I think that's what it's going to do. Let's format this. Okay, yeah. So I just want to take a look at, make sure that what we have here is a date time for the date. Yes, okay. And from there, let's go and create a first week object, which is gonna be, I think, a data frame crossings where the month is equal to April. And we're going to sort the values by, okay, by the date and dot head. And just make sure that we understand what that object is. It's a data frame, okay? And it has the first 7 entries from April, starting on Saturday and going up to Friday. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to start layering on a plot here. So we do the parentheses to start building out this object. And we're going to take in our first week data frame. We're going to take the day column as our X axis and the min temp for that. And so we're going to do a line plot, I think. Okay, so we're going to do a bunch. Okay, so we're going to add something on. We're going to add a line object, and we're going to color it black. We're going to take a line width of 3, and we're going to use a marker for each data point as a O. Then we're going to add on a so.bar. Color is equal to green. And we're going to leave it open, and the edge width is going to be 3. And I guess that a bar is going to be not a bar graph, but maybe like a rectangle or something like that. And then we're going to add an area along here and color it yellow. I don't know what that's controlling though. So over the entire area, it's going to be colored yellow as the background, I'm guessing. Just try to guess like what's going to happen here. Then we're going to label our axes and the title as well. Okay, and now if we just go to show, it will show this plot. And there is something that's not imported here because I didn't import this. Didn't run that cell yet to do that. Okay. Well, this isn't a pretty graph, but it does demonstrate some things, I guess. You make sure that the date column is interpreted as dates. So that you can calculate the first 7 days of April. You create first week by filtering crossings to obtain the April data, sorting on date, and using .head7 to obtain only the first 7 rows containing the first week's worth of data. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think, if you're familiar with pandas and stuff. As with all Seaborn plots created using objects, you must first create a plot object that contains references to the data that you need. In this case, you must supply the first week data frame as well as the day and min temp series within it. For data is X and Y respectively. You're not really adding those series, though. You're really just adding a reference to those series, to be honest. If we're being like particular and like pedantic here. Yeah. The old I forget which version of Seaborn, but it's now not, I think it's overloaded now. So you can do both. You can add in a series for the X and Y columns. But it's not needed. You can just pass a reference to the column as a string. Okay, to add content to the plot, you use the plot.add method and pass it in the object or objects that you wish to add. Each time you call plot.add, you add its parameters to a separate layer of your plot object. So in this case, you've called add 3 times, so 3 separate layers will be added. And you notice like the order, I guess, like you can switch up the order and it'll be, one will be on top of the other, right? Now, what's interesting to me is how implicit everything is. Like the line, we didn't tell it what to map the line to. It just implied that the line should be the data points from min-temp. And same with bar. And strangely, like it implies, like, of course, the default then is that it's centered on the point. Like it's not like aligned to the left of the point or the right of the point. It's aligned in the center. And then the area is defined as the area underneath, like kind of like area under the curve, basically. Underneath, yeah, the line that is made out from that. So that's curious to me. And there might be something going on with that area where, like, if you change the line that's above it, that it's going to fill that in too. So if you have some kind of smoothing, I'm curious about if you do that. Okay, well, I guess we'll try that. Try to see if those questions will be answered. The first layer contains a line object, which is used to draw lines on the plot and create a line plot. By passing in color, line width, and marker parameters, you define how you want your line object to look. A set of lines joining adjacent data points will appear on your plot. And the second layer contains a bar object. These are used in bar plots. Again, you specify some parameters to define how the bars will look. These are then applied to each bar on your plot. The final layer adds an area object, and this provides shading below data. In this case, it'll be yellow since you specified this as the color property. Say about the bar object. Yeah, okay. And then to finish off, you call the label method of plot to provide your plot with a title and capitalize label axes. Your plot looks like this. Yeah, it looks like that. It's not, it's honestly, it's kind of ugly, but just demonstrating the concepts here. As you'll see, all 3 objects have been placed on the plot, allowing you to add separate objects to the plot object. It gives you great flexibility in how your final visualization will look. You're no longer restricted by how a function decides how your plot will look. However, as you've seen here, you can overdo it without realizing it. Okay. And then we can enhance our plots with the move and stat objects. Interesting. So we're going to do the same thing, or no? Let's just do this. So we have stat and move objects. Let's open those up so that when we need to use them, they'll be available to us for the exercises. We're in that, enhancing our plots with the move and stat objects. Okay, SO plots. Create the plot at first, and you're passing the data that you want to use for the plot. And we can add something on. So we're going to add the bar. Oh, you can pass multiple things in. Okay. To add. So you don't have to do add one by one. You can pass in multiple objects. Okay, we're going to do the median for our aggregation function, which is going to be the median of the max temps, I think, right? In a bar, and then we're going to do dodge. I'm not sure what dodge does. It's the displacement and narrowing of overlapping marks along orientation of right. Okay, we saw that with the histograms, right? That when they were going to be overlaid, you can put them side by side. You can put them with some gap. Yeah, this does it like that with that. And I think label is going to come after that with that. That's the way Rough wants us to do that. So we want to label only the y-axis and the title as median temperature. And color is equal to day. And then at the end, we can just say show. There we go. Okay, Rough likes it better that way. And then this is it. That's a pretty cool looking plot. I don't like the where the location of the legend, so hopefully we can deal with that. So the gap in between bars is 0.1. And then the aggregation. I wonder if you could do this as like negative. So it's overlaid. Yeah. They look like buildings or something, like occluding one another. Because you could do a gap of 0. And then they're right next to each other, but they kind of look funky. So we do a gap of 0.1. Separate them a little bit. Median temperature for a Saturday in April. So you can look up those ones in this thing. It's kind of a weird way to do this, though. A weird way to present this data, honestly. As usual, we start by defining our plot object. This time we add in a color parameter. However, instead of assigning an actual color, you define the day data series. This will mean that all layers added will separate the plot into separate days, which with each day having a different color. Similar in concept to the hue parameter. However, hue does not exist in plot. Okay, so color is the meaning for hue, basically. I think that's in keeping with ggplot. Yeah, you're mapping the color aesthetic to days, or you're mapping the days to the color aesthetic. I don't know which way the arrow goes, honestly. But that's the basic idea as I understand it. To display the median values on each temperature bar plotted, you need to add an ag object into the same layer as the bar. This is an example of a stat type and allows you to specify how the data will be transformed or calculated before it's plotted. And so the stat thing is the ag type, right? Yeah. So you pass in median as its function parameter, which tells it to use median values for each bar object. The default is mean. And by default, each of the bars will appear on top of each other. To separate them, you need to add a dodge object into the layer as well. This is an example of a move object type and allows you to adjust the placement of the different bars. In this case, you set each bar to have a gap between them by passing gap is equal to 0.1. So finally, you use the label method to specify the plot's labels by setting colors equal to day. You give the legend title a capitalized string. Your resulting plot looks like this. Okay. As you can see, each month's data is represented by a separate cluster of bars, with each bar within each cluster representing a different day. How do we get the legend outside, though? I want to see something. How did they get the legend outside? Oh, they didn't. It's inside. So maybe that is something that we need to adjust. How do you do the legend? Thinking maybe it's something to do with layout, but maybe I can't, like, look at this. Maybe because I haven't actually looked at it. So you can limit. I don't know what that's about. Do subplots by pairing multiple x and y values. Compile the plot spec and return the plotter object. You can save it. You can scale it. You can save and then or show and then save. Save and then show. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like I'd like to move the legend outside of the plot, but I'm not sure how you control that with this. Be something to look for here. Okay, so then we're going to separate the plot into subplots. Okay, and then that's going to be the last part. Yeah, okay, so not too much more. Okay, now suppose you wanted each of the monthly plots to appear in a separate subplot. To do this, you use the plot's object's facet method to decide how you want to separate the data. Okay. So we're using the same code as before. We're just doing a little bit of an adjustment here. And before I do the exercises, I'm going to take a quick break. But we're just going to do this first. You're going to use the facet object to control the facets, and then the month separates it into separate months. Then how do you significantly different output. So how do you suppress the labels on the bottom there? Yeah. I wonder if you could pass a No, that's not defined. So it is just a string here for that. I'm curious how you would do it this way. Because the X should be showing nothing. Like the X shouldn't be like the tick labels, I guess. I don't know. All right, so that would be something to explore in the future. You know, take it for what it's worth. You know, I just want to get the basics of this. So no reason to go too deeply, right? I mean, that's always been a problem with. Well, not so much a problem. I shouldn't say a problem. That's kind of ableist. The kind of phenomena that prevents me from moving along quickly with things is that I'm just so curious that I want to explore every single little thing. And that leads me to kind of take longer with tasks than maybe some other people might. So, I'm going to take a break. Let me just read this and then think about this. We're going to redraw the min versus max temperature scatter plot that we created at the start of the article using objects. And we're going to make sure each marker has a different color, depending on the days that it represents. And finally, we're going to use a star to represent each marker. So what I'll do, so we'll go back to our scatter plot. I think it was here. Yes, so we did start to plot here with that. And we did do stuff with this. That first task feels like it's the same thing, though. Depending on the day it represents. Okay, each marker has a different color depending on the day. So we're going to assign the color to the marker, or color to the day. Or marker to the day. Marker to the day, not to the month. Makes sense. Okay, so we're going to use this as a template, and then we'll work off of that. But it would be interesting to, let me just like try to take in the whole thing here. And I don't understand why the label color is stir.capitalize. What string was it referring to? Color of the label. I think the stir.capitalize is coming from the month, for the marker. I think. Coloring the label. I don't know why that's like that. I wonder if we didn't show this, that it would show the same thing, you know? Go back to the tutorial here. So that's what we did, and then we're going to do the exercise solution. So we're going to take a little break. I'll be right back. And so we'll be back in, set like a 5-minute timer here. And do that. So be back. All right. So we're getting back into it. So just going to finish this. I just want to finish this up and then get back to having a nice evening. Just taking it easy. Yeah, let's just finish this up real quick. So we want to redraw this, the original one that we had. So let me copy that object, that code from up there. Bring this back down to this here. 1 second, baby girl. I gotta take Hypatia for a walk as well. So what we wanted to do was just edit, instead of month, we wanted to be colored by the day. And I think there was something else that we wanted as well. So it's faceted by month, I think. Okay. What if I get rid of this color thing? No, that month, the month is still showing up there. Oh, because the marker's on the month, right? The marker we want to be mapped to there, and the color we want to be the month. Is that what we wanted? This is weird. I don't know. Okay, let's go back up here because I feel like we got a little too far. I think this is the one we want to edit, not the other one. We don't want the facets. But we want to play around with this one. So the color is the month, and then the day is the marker. And I think we want star or dot. And then I think, okay. Oops. And then we're gonna have to look at the at this. It's not a move object. It's a mark object, and it's a dot mark. You can do jitter. You can change the marker with scale. We can affect the marker with scale. And I guess you can use the asterisk there, but I think... Really? Where did we see that marker? Square. S is square. Is this a thing? That's star. Okay, so that's star. That's how we get the markers. And then we want each day to be there. So the color, we want to be the day. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty much what we wanted, right? And then... So, dot is adding the scatter plot stuff. Scale is doing the marker in these. And then, okay, and then these others. So I just don't know if I fully understand what they want. So we want the same thing as before, but we want to add a star for each individual one, for each individual day. But like going back up here, the marker is month. Yeah, high pitch is really folding it in. I really gotta go. Shoot. If I do it this way, it's going to give me an error, right? It does, because it says it can't use that. But if I do this, it cycles the markers. Is there, like, in the dot object, is there... Point size is there. Scale is there as well. I don't fully understand. I just need to like take a peek at what they're doing here with this. So max temp, and then they're coloring the day, and then they're adding the marker into the dot thing. Okay, so not into here. Color is given by the day, and then the marker is into here. Well, that can't work, I guess. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. Let's just start. I'm not using this mapping for color. I don't know what the heck that was for, because it didn't seem to do anything. Maybe I was trying to add that? I have no idea. Is that all they wanted? That's all they wanted. Okay, I'm just like confused at to how much complexity they want. Because it seems like they wanted the month as well, like reading it by, I don't know. So redraw that and make sure each marker has a different color depending on the day that it is. So it's just kind of ambiguous to whether or not you want the month in there or not. Okay, so now we want to create a bar plot using objects showing maximum and minimum. Right. For each of the 4 bridges. So we need to do the bridge crossings because we need it in ID format. X is going to be the bridge. And Y is going to be the crossings, I want to say. Now on top of this, we want to add bar plot. And what did we do for the ag? The func. Func is the thing that we need to control. Function, we want the max. I wonder if we could pass in a list in here. And the min. I just want to see if this is going to work. No, it doesn't. So it's getting a tuple. No, it needs that. So I guess maybe we need to do it in multiples. Layer it on one by one. You can't just do it into that. Only is at most once, that type. So if we do it that way, that gives me the maximum. Can I do... I could do it like that. That shows the minimum and then the maximum. I don't know if it's the way they want it. And then they want they just want a label. So they wanted it colored by bridges. Okay. And then they just wanted this label here. You actually don't need to do that show for this, but we're doing it anyway. Okay, so that's kind of what they wanted. So I guess, like, keep in mind that we're gonna, like, whenever you go, you're gonna go back and forth with somebody on what kind of plot they want, I guess. Just trying to get the basics down, just make sure, right? So we want a bar plot using objects. We're gonna create the plot, right? We want our data. So what are we doing? We're doing the serial data? Serials data. The X is gonna be okay. Breakfast cereal categories. Calories. Is it name? I think it was calories. And then the color. I don't think we need anything more than that because I think what we do is we do a histogram, right? And then bins are 10 bins. What does that give us? Serial state is not shown because I mean it's um I forget how we did serials data. Here. I guess we don't need to like rename anything. Mark must be a mark. Oh, because I think I know what we want. We want, maybe 1 minute, okay? Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't. Okay, we can do counts. So I think that's what we're going for. Let me see. Oh, you need a marker? Okay. Oh, wait, that was the second one. Or task one. Never mind. So long ago. So you need the bar, and then you need to hist with the bins. It automatically does the count. And then we want a label. And then that's what they wanted. Okay, so we recreated that. Okay. All right, so lots of stuff to play around with there. Let's see. Although we may think otherwise, you've not actually reached the end of your Seaborn journey, but rather only the end of its beginning. Well, just the beginning, right? Remember, Seaborn is growing. There's always more to learn. So we gained awareness of our key principles of Seaborn. You must understand these because you can later apply them in a wide range of ways to produce them. So actually, I kind of want to add something else. What's the main takeaways for today? Main takeaways for today is that we gained awareness of the key principles of Seaborn, right? That's what we did. Use the documentation. Copy that link. And then practice, right? With lots of different data sets. That's if you want to get better at plotting, get better at analysis. I don't know how deep I want to go with that off the bat. I just want to, in the future, I'd like to become a lot better at it. But for now, I think we just do that. It would be nice to dive deep into some things. Actually, hang on a second. You got to mark this as complete. I'll give it a thumbs up, and then I think we have to mark it as complete somehow, right? Mark as completed. There we go. We completed it, and it's good. I'd give it a thumbs up. I think there's a couple things that I would improve, but not entirely sure. I think it's the documentation is helpful for sure. Yeah. And other than that, I think I'm gonna call it for today. Not a great day. I'm not feeling it today. Taking care of personal stuff and then having to, just reschedule a whole bunch of stuff that I planned for next week, this week, and next week. Just kind of sucks. But we'll get through it. Get through it. And so we'll close that down. Close this down then too. I didn't really take too many notes today. It's just indicative of a not very good day. And I'm gonna close everything down. I think I might just restart the computer. Make sure that everything is running smoothly. And try to come back tomorrow. Just make sure that I'm good to go. I woke up trying to rush into doing stuff and ended up getting distracted and I woke up kind of already tired. That's what I want to say. So that when I had to adjust, it took me a lot longer to adjust, basically. So gonna do more stuff tomorrow. This is a process. It takes time. And I just got to keep reminding myself that I don't have to have everything solved, right now. Don't have to have everything solved right now. I can take it bit by bit and work on it little by little. So, for anybody watching, thank you for watching today. And I hope this will help. What I plan to try to do in the future is to pare these streams down, these videos, into individual videos for the tutorial stuff, especially for the like the practical stats for data scientists. So I'll pare those down. Eventually, I don't know like when though, because probably once I start getting pretty deep into the book, and I get a better feel of like how the flow should go. Yeah, and then the main thing I want to do with these videos is to just use it as a documentary of like my process of going from kind of like not having a kind of like long-term memory, things that are stored in long-term memory that are hard to get to the surface, that are hard to bring up into working memory. Taking that process, like, and like showing you a process of how you can, you know, take the things you know, bring them up to the surface, learn a little bit more, gain some confidence along the way, and hopefully, like, I'd like to like empower some people that are in a similar situation as me. Maybe you did some really technical stuff, you did some really deep stuff at university, you did, um, you've got knowledge, you've got it in you, and you hit a hard spot, you hit a rough patch, and you feel like that's all gone. And I'm here to say it's not all gone, right? It's in there, it's in you. You just need to bring it back. You just need to rehydrate it, right? As they say in like the uh, um, cloud storage parlance, you know. Just need to bring it back to the surface and bring it back into working memory. Um, and you can do it. You can do this. You deserve to, take advantage of the knowledge, the hard work that you put in to get that knowledge. Um, you deserve to have a good life that, takes all that work, puts it to use, and celebrates it. Yeah. So that's all I want to say for now. That probably made no sense, but I'm not feeling great these days. I think you might be able to sense or hear a bit of rasp in my voice over this past couple of days as I've been speaking a lot. But I'm also feeling a bit fatigued and drained. I have a bit of a stomach bug going on as well, so just not feeling great. It's cold here. Hypatia's not feeling great. She's feeling better today. But yeah, I just want to take it easy tonight and have some couch time with Hypatia, and maybe Opal will join me on the couch. Um, and then tomorrow my wife Molly returns from her trip to Austin. So yeah, been a good week so far, I want to say, even with things being as they are and having to adjust. I feel better equipped to deal with changes. Just having like, and a lot of it comes down to putting the work into schedule and plan and do long-term planning. If you're planning for long-term, the short-term perturbances are easier to handle, right? Yeah, that's what I want to say on that. I'll cut that up, make a short out of it. So, yeah, maybe I should actually maybe bring some attention to this channel. Because mainly like I'm not looking for clout. I'm just looking for real connection, friendships, people who are in industries where I want to work, who read like where they hear me, they see me, they hear me, they hear my experience, and they think, yeah, I'm sympathetic to that person, or I'm empathetic to that person, you know. um, and we build real human connections that way. Um, this is my way of like presenting myself to the world, of like kind of like coming out of a shell and like just expressing myself, you know. It's not for clout, it's for legitimate relationships. Um, and I've like heard, so one of the podcasts I listened to uh, in the Thomas Smith universe, podverse, one of his uh, buddies there, Eli Bosnick, I think, said that introverts are just looking for an extrovert to adopt them. And definitely feel that. Like, I look back at my experience through life and all the friendships that I had. I did not really initiate them. Um, but yeah, um, I kind of like need somebody to say, they want me to be their friend, basically. So it's hard. As time goes by, you lose friendships, you lose connections. Those friendships that you had, they kind of lose their strength because of people just being, dynamic. We change over time. We have different wants and different desires and different goals. So those paths uh, coincide sometimes, which is real nice. But other times they will diverge, you know. Um, so hold on to the ones you have right now. So okay. Um, yeah. Try to be back tomorrow. I'm gonna go take care of Hypatia and have a nice relaxing evening. um, I don't know why I want just hanging on here, but I'll see everyone tomorrow, hopefully, if anybody shows up.